Last episode ended with me believing maybe, just maybe, we were finally turning the corner. Mom had made it through surgery. She'd come through the anesthesia beautifully. For the first time in days, I let myself exhale. I shouldn't have. At 2:45 the next morning, my phone rang. There's something about a phone ringing in the middle of the night. Even before you answer, you know sleep for the night is over. The nurse said, "Your mom's heart rate is 182. 182? My brain immediately went to one place. Is she having a heart attack? No, she said. She's an AFib. AFib? Another medical term I'd never heard of before. Welcome to caregiving. One day you're arguing about hydration, the next you're learning words you never wanted to know. The nurse explained that her heart wasn't beating in a normal rhythm. They were monitoring her. She was okay. There was no need to come in. Okay. Apparently, okay means something very different in a hospital than it does everywhere else. Needless to say, I didn't sleep much after that. First thing the next morning, I called Mom's cardiologist. One thing I was incredibly thankful for, I had most of Mom's numbers saved in my phone. At the time, it just seemed organized. Turns out, it was one of the smartest things I'd ever done. Then I called her podiatrist. You see, until that moment, it had never occurred to me that a podiatrist might also be a surgeon, or that he might be able to look at her foot x-rays and save us from yet another surgery. Somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling like a daughter and started feeling like an air traffic controller. Cardiology, orthopedics, podiatry, nursing, pharmacy. Everybody was taking care of Mom. Somebody had to make sure one doctor's plan didn't accidentally create another doctor's problem. I felt like Spider-Man trying to keep 6 different conversations from crashing into each other. Thankfully, Mom had wonderful doctors. And she had relationships with them that had been built over the years. I honestly believe that's why both her cardiologist partner and her podiatrist showed up at the hospital that same morning. Sometimes, those relationships matter more than you realize. The cardiologist evaluated Mom, adjusted her medications, and ordered an echocardiogram. He also decided not to restart one for blood pressure medications because he didn't want her blood pressure dropping too low while they were trying to get her heart under control. Then the podiatrist walked in. He reviewed Mom's foot x-rays, several fractures, but then the words I'd been hoping to hear. Since she wouldn't be putting any weight on that leg anyway for the next 6 to 8 weeks while the leg was healing, her foot should heal on its own. No surgery. I don't think I've ever been so happy to hear someone say we didn't need another operation. Even better, because she no longer needed foot surgery, the cardiologist could safely start her on a blood thinner to help reduce her stroke risk from the AFib. Finally, it felt like everyone was going in the same direction. Of course, caregiving has a way of reminding you not to celebrate too early. Mom was incredibly bloated. She needed an enema. So, while cardiology was figuring out blood thinners, I was reminding people about her bowels, because apparently that's also part of the job description. Before the blood thinner could be administered, it needed to be signed off by 2 nurses. Then the pharmacy had to verify the dosage, so it took until that evening before she finally received it. Meanwhile, I kept asking about the enema. Nobody hands you the caregiver handbook. You just learn. Sometimes the smallest things become the biggest priorities. Thankfully, Mom didn't have any more episodes of AFib that day. I allowed myself to believe maybe the medication was working. Then my phone rang again that night. Another overnight call. Another episode. Another reminder we weren't turning the corner after all. Before I tell you what happened next, If you're finding these stories helpful, I'd love for you to follow the podcast. New episodes drop every Tuesday morning, and following the show is the easiest way to make sure you don't miss one. And if you're caring for someone you love, I've also created a free Wicked Daughter emergency binder checklist, the resource I wished I'd have before the sheriff ever called. You can download it free at wickeddaughter.com. It'll help you organize the information you'll need so it's at your fingertips when life suddenly changes. Next time, Mom's heart finally settled down. She was transferred to a unit called Step Down, which ironically for us felt like a step up. But for the first time, physical therapy began. We started talking about rehab, and I let myself believe we might actually be headed home. We weren't. Until next time, save your parents' doctor's numbers before you need them. Ask the extra question. Trust your instincts. And if one doctor's good news makes another doctor's job easier, we're calling that a win. I'm the Wicked Daughter, managing your aging parent, one meltdown at a time.
When your friends say cherish this time, you smile while you're losing your mind. Was it the pharmacy line or the rush hour doctor drive? So you swallow that glare with a laugh and a sigh and say, don't fret, dear, we're having the time of our lives. Oh, we're having the time of our lives. Wicked Daughter.